Well, hello everybody, welcome back. You want to shave? Let's get to shaving. Today we're going to be using Margaritas in the Arctic from Sterling Soap, my synthetic brush that I always use, and the good old Rockwell razor. And I can't remember which model it is. People have asked and I've responded, but I am terrible about that. But I will tell you, I use the setting 5. I don't know if you can see that. And for the aftershave, we're going Osage Rub again. It's been a little while because fall is almost upon us. But not quite. We got a taste of it yesterday here in Texas, but it has cruelly been ripped away from us once again. So I got to get back and get mentholated. Let's get mentholated, shall we? Okay. Hey, I just got out of the shower. I spiked up my hair. Got a haircut yesterday. Does this haircut make me look fat? Does vision make me look fat? Yeah. Anyway, what was I going to say? I can't remember. God, I should pay attention to myself when I'm doing these things. So I like to face lather if you haven't seen my videos before, and if you have, then you know. So I like to get a little bit of soap on the brush. I don't like to use a bowl because I'm a lazy man. Or am I a practical man? Practical is the new lazy, right? Is that? I don't know. So I get a little bit of soap on the brush there. Put this away, put the top back on so the scent is retained because, as I've said before, the scent will go away. I put a little bit more water on there to get it wet. Just sprinkle it kind of right in the middle and then see what happens. So yeah, I took a shower, spiked up my hair, and while I was in the shower, I was thinking, who taught you guys how to shave? I was trying to think back. I don't think I was ever taught how to shave. And this would have been, the early 80s, like 1982, 1983, I don't remember exactly, but about that time, when I was 12, 13, that's when you start shaving, right? If there are any 12 or 13-year-olds out there watching this video, first of all, go watch something else. Go watch Fortnite videos. You don't need to see me shave. But secondly, if you are watching, has anyone taught you how to shave? I mean, I know we've got YouTube now. We've got everything online. We've got all these resources that if your dad or your grandpa hasn't done it, that you can find a substitute dad or a substitute grandpa. So I'm your substitute shaving dad, Sinatra Lennon, the Bob Ross of shaving, or also known as your substitute shaving dad. And your uncle, Uncle Sinatra. No, but I don't think I was ever taught. My dad certainly didn't teach me, and through no fault of his own. I don't think it was a thing he thought of. My parents had been divorced at that point, so he was, trying to forge a new life and all that jazz. My mom was doing her thing to raise me and my brother, and so it just never came up. But I do remember, and I may have said this before in another video, that I was nervous about shaving. I didn't know what to do, so I thought, and plus, it was also a little bit of oh my gosh, I have to start shaving now. That means I'm growing up. That means I'm no longer a kid. And that was a little bit scary, getting these responsibilities. I used to be so scared of growing up and having to do taxes. I remember specifically, it's like, how do you do taxes? How do you file a tax return? How do you balance a checkbook? And so, because I had these fears, I said, well, maybe if I just get an electric razor. So I got my mom to buy me a cheap electric razor, and it was kind of shaped like this. It was actually a razor that looked like this, but like a bigger, thicker electric razor version. So it was in the shape of like a safety razor. And I remember trying it the first time by myself in the bathroom of my boyhood home in Houston. Don't conjure up any more thoughts about me in my bathroom in Houston in my teenage years. And I tried it out, so I used the electric razor, and it wasn't a very good one. I don't even know where we got it. And I don't know what became of it. I just didn't use it again after that. And I did it. I used the razor, and then went out and said, hey Mom, did I do it right? And it hadn't done anything. I hadn't done it enough, or hadn't, done enough passes with the thing. But she's like, no, that didn't really work. I was like, oh, okay. So I think I went back and did it. And then I pretty quickly after that started using the disposable Bic razors with whatever. It's funny, I don't remember. You know, was I using Barbasol back then? I might have been. I don't know. Colgate, maybe? I've used Colgate before. But Barbasol, for some reason, I don't know why, I always used it. I always like to show the Barbasol. I feel like he's a co-star. Barbasol and the old grungy razor that's right here in the cabinet. They're kind of my co-stars on this channel. All right, there's the first pass while we were talking. It's like it never even happened. It's like distracting your kid when they go to the doctor and have to get a shot. Say, see, sweetie? All done. But anyway, so who taught you how to shave? I want to read in the comments, like, or let's say that, let's rephrase it. Where did you learn how to shave? Was it from YouTube? Was it from a family member? Maybe an older brother, or your dad, or an uncle? Or a real hairy aunt? Who taught you? I'd like to hear some stories, or at least read some stories. I think that'd be interesting. Like, what is the prevalence of, like, a dad sitting down with his son? He's like, all right, son, we're going to learn to shave now. Here's what you do. I think I remember playing, pretending to shave, like you would get those toys, second pass. You would get those toy shaving sets, and they were plastic, and then you'd get some of your dad's shaving cream and squirt it all over your face. I know my kids like to do that. And so I remember pretending to shave, but I was never, at least I don't remember, being taught. I don't know if my dad watches this channel or not. I know my mom does, so shout out to Mom. But if he has a different memory, I've never asked him about it. I think he still uses those cheap Bic razors, those blue ones. I think I remember seeing those. And maybe a shaving gel, perhaps. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. I should have him on the show sometime. What do you think? He got me into drinking scotch, so if there's ever going to be a live scotch on the porch, I need to do one with my dad. I'm sure his dad got him into drinking it too, because my grandpa he always had a cup of ice, like a big plastic cup of ice and some sort of liquid in it. And I'm sure it must have been scotch, right? I mean, he was from the old school generation, the greatest generation, you know, World War II generation. And, you know, that's what you did when you got home. You drank. He had a government job that he didn't like. But, this may be telling tales out of school, but one of his favorite things to do was to go down to the beach and go nude sunbathing. Or if he couldn't get to the beach, he'd go nude sunbathing in his backyard in Houston. Just in suburban Houston. Just strip down and let it all hang out, as it were. He was always tan. I remember that. He was always tan. And he always had his shirt off, which is where I get it. You know, shaving without your shirt on, like so many shavers do. Of course, I don't show anything from the, you know, clavicles down, because who wants to see that? Anyway, he was always shirtless, and he was always very tan. And he was a thin guy, and he always had a mustache, and he liked to wear like gold bracelets, and I remember he had a gold ring. I've got one of his gold rings and one of his gold, or one of his digital watches from the 70s. Anyway, he was an interesting character. It'd be interesting to get to know him, you know, as an adult. I didn't really know him as a kid. He died when I was probably, I don't know, how old was I? 19 or 20? But isn't that a shame? You don't get to know your grandparents in their prime, or you're not an adult to get to talk to them and find out what, you know, life is like for them. Ooh, I'm liking that margaritas in the Arctic. If you haven't tried that yet, try it. And it's the glacial version, so it's got a little extra menthol in it, which if you like menthol, you're going to like it. Okay, I'm going to do, let me feel, what do we got here? We got a little bit here, as usual, hardly any there. And some right here. Here, and a little bit there. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Third pass, but it's not going to be a full pass. I'm just going to touch up. I wouldn't recommend doing this if your skin is sensitive, or if you're new to shaving with a safety razor, and especially if you use a blade as sharp as the feather blades. Because while they're sharp, I don't necessarily notice like, oh my God, it's so sharp. I've just bought into the hype. Maybe they're not the sharpest. I don't know. Did I buy into the corporate BS? Oh, that's okay, I don't care. What do I care? So I'm just going to do a little up On the cheeks where I know I always have stubble, and right here on the back of what passes for my jawline. And over here too. That was pretty clean right there. And let's just do a little around the nose here. Some people noticed in my last video, in one shot, there was a giant ring on my hand. Did you notice that? It was a replica of the Astros World Series championship ring. Because I grew up in Houston, I've got an affinity for the Astros. And they're doing well right now. They just clinched the division. And hopefully they'll go back to the World Series. If you're a Dodgers fan, then good game. And if you're a Red Sox or an Oakland A's fan, well, let's see what happens. I'm not huge into sports, but I do have a soft spot in my heart for the Astros because I used to love to go to the Astrodome when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s. I did more roaming around the Astrodome than I did watching the game back then, but I do love it. So anyway, that's what that ring was. It was a replica of the Astros World Series ring that they've been giving out at the stadiums in Houston and around Texas where the minor league Astros teams play. Mystery solved! I thought I put it in there without mentioning it and see if anybody noticed, and I think one person noticed. Anyway. Alright, I think that's good enough. There we go. I got a couple little minor, tiny little nicks. You know it's going to take care of that. Boom. Get ready. Wash my face off with cold water. Oh! Woo! Mentholated, baby. Oof. Makes you feel alive. Okay, but you think that's mentholated. Wait till the Osage rub gets rubbed in. All right, here we go. If you haven't tried this yet, go get yourself some. It's not very expensive. It's on Amazon. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I didn't over shave. So it didn't burn. The Green Monster. That's you. Another baseball reference. Okay, I think that's it. Let me wash my hands off. And then, wash out your brush. Wash your razor, let it dry in an open place. And if it gets grungy like mine does, just use a toothbrush and some toothpaste. That's the weird thing. You can use this to clean off your razor because it's got abrasives in it. Cleans your teeth, can clean some metal. And clean it, gently enough that it won't take off any fancy plating that you might have. And I was talking to a guy in the comments who recently got his Fat Boy replated. I think he said with rhodium. Rhodium, isn't that like from the planet Krypton? Anyway, that's a fine metal. Is it more rare than platinum or gold? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. But one of these days, I'm going to start up a GoFundMe to get this thing replated. Or should I? I don't know. That's part of the charm. It's the patina on this thing that makes it so lovable. But you can't go wrong with the Rockwell. And that's it. Enough blathering from me. I like to try to do one video a week. And somebody commented yesterday, it's like, hey, if you're not going to load a video, then... And he mentioned No Shave November, which I think I will do. But I'll still make a video a week and tell you the progress and how itchy and crazy my face feels when that happens. But we got a month before that happens, so let's just keep on shaving. Anyway, happy Friday. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. If you have any requests or anything besides the whipped cream shaving, I know I got to do that. Don't worry. I remember. I just got to go to the store and buy some. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Have a good shave. Have a good day. See ya.